I will be still an instant, and go home. I will be still an instant, and go home. There is a child in you that seeks his father's house. He desires to go home so deeply, so unceasingly. His voice cries unto you to let him rest a while. He does not ask for more than just a few instants of respite, just an interval in which he can return to breathe again the holy air that fills his Father's house. The child is your defenselessness, your strength. Be still an instant and go home with him and be at peace a while. I will be still an instant, and go home. I will be still an instant and go home. Well, thank you all for joining me today and studying A Course in Miracles. I'm Forgiveness Willie, teaching forgiveness from the Ozarks, and we're ready for Lesson 182 in A Course in Miracles. We're reading from the Foundation for Inner Peace version of A Course in Miracles this year, here for Tuesday, July 1st of 2025. So let's take a look at our lesson. I will be still an instant and go home. This world you seem to live in is not home to you. And somewhere in your mind you know that this is true. A memory of home keeps haunting you as if there were a place that called you to return, although you do not recognize the voice, nor what it is the voice reminds you of. Yet still you feel an alien here, from somewhere all unknown. We're aliens here. Nothing so definite that you could say with certainty you are an exile here. Just a persistent feeling, sometimes not more than a tiny throb, at other times hardly remembered, actively dismissed, but surely to return to mind again. No one but knows whereof we speak, yet some try to put by their suffering in games they play to occupy their time and keep their sadness from them. Others will deny that they are sad and do not recognize their tears at all. Still others will maintain that what we speak of is illusion, not to be considered more than but a dream. Yet who in simple honesty, without defensiveness and self-deception, would deny he understands the words we speak? We speak today for everyone who walks this world, for he is not at home. He goes uncertainly about in endless search, seeking in darkness what he cannot find, not recognizing what it is he seeks. 1,000 homes he makes, yet none contents his restless mind. He does not understand. He builds in vain. He builds those homes in vain. The home he seeks cannot be made by him. There is no substitute for heaven. All he ever made was hell. Perhaps you think it is your childhood home that you would find again, the childhood of your body and its place of shelter, or a memory now so distorted that you merely hold a picture of a past that never happened. Yet there is a child in you who seeks his father's house and knows that he is alien here. This childhood is eternal, with an innocence that will endure forever. Where this child shall go is holy ground. It is his holiness that lights up heaven, and that brings to earth the pure reflection of the light above, wherein on earth and heaven joined as one. It is this child in you your Father knows as his own Son. Remember what Jesus said, unless you become as a little child, you won't enter the kingdom of heaven. You won't know about heaven. Well, it is this child in you your Father knows as his own Son. It is this child who knows his Father. He desires to go home so deeply, so unceasingly, his voice cries out unto you to let him rest a while. He does not ask for more than just a few instants of respite, just an interval in which he can return to breathe again the holy air that fills his Father's house. You are his home as well. He will return, but give him just a little time to be himself within the peace that is his home, resting in silence and in peace and love. This child needs your protection. He is far from home. He is so little that he seems so easily shut out, his tiny voice so readily obscured, his call for help almost unheard amid the grating sounds and harsh and rasping noises of the world. Yet does he know that in you still abides his sure protection. You will fail him not. He will go home, and you along with him. This child is your defenselessness, your strength. Your defenselessness, which is your strength. This child is your defenselessness. Let everything go and trust God, just like a little child would. This child is your defenselessness, your strength. He trusts in you. He came because he knew you would not fail. He whispers of his home unceasingly to you, for he would bring you back with him, that he himself might stay and not return again where he does not belong, and where he lives an outcast in a world of alien thoughts. His patience has no limits. He will wait until you hear his gentle voice within you, calling you to let him go in peace along with you, to where he is at home and you with him. When you are still an instant, when the world recedes from you, when valueless ideas cease to have value in your restless mind, then will you hear his voice. So poignantly he calls to you that you will not resist him longer. So much evoking a keen sense of sadness and regret, he calls to you that you will not resist him longer. That poignantly evoking a keen sense of sadness and regret. So poignantly he calls to you that you will not resist him longer. In that instant he will take you to his home, and you will stay with him in perfect stillness, silent and at peace beyond all words, untouched by fear and doubt, sublimely certain that you are at home. Rest with him frequently today, for he was willing to become a little child that you might learn of him how strong is he who comes without defenses, offering only love's messages to those who think he is their enemy. He holds the might of heaven in his hand and calls them friend, and gives his strength to them, that they may see he would be friend to them. He asks that they protect him, for his home is far away, and he will not return to it alone. He's going to take us with him. Christ is reborn as but a little child, each time a wanderer would leave his home. For he must learn that what he would protect is but this child, who comes defenseless and who is protected by defenselessness. Go home with him from time to time today. You are as much an alien here as he. Take time today to lay aside your shield, which profits nothing, and lay down the spear and sword you raised against an enemy without existence. Christ has called you friend and brother. He has even come to ask your help in letting him go home today, completed and completely. He has come as does a little child who must beseech his father for protection and for love. He rules the universe, and yet he asks unceasingly. He rules the universe. This little child in you rules the universe, and yet he asks unceasingly that you return with him and take illusions as your gods no more. You have not lost your innocence. It is for this you yearn. This is your heart's desire. This is the voice you hear, and this the call which cannot be denied. The Holy Child remains with you. His home is yours. Today he gives you his defensiveness, and you accept it in exchange for all the toys of battle you have made. And now the way is open, and the journey has an end in sight at last. Be still an instant and go home with him, and be at peace a while. Be still an instant and go home with him, and be at peace a while. So let's follow that little child in us, the defenseless one that is at home in heaven and unceasingly asks you to return with him to your Father's care, your Father's love, to be at home. I will be still an instant and go home. Okay, let's take a look in our text reading. We're in chapter 19, the attainment of peace. Roman numeral 4, the obstacles to peace, and we're still in the second obstacle, the belief the body is valuable for what it offers, and then ready for lowercase I, the attraction of pain. Your little part is but to give the Holy Spirit the whole idea of sacrifice, and to accept the peace he gives instead, without the limits that would hold its extension back and so would limit your awareness of it. For what he gives must be extended if you would have its limitless power, and use it for the Son of God's release. It is not this you would be rid of, and having it, you cannot limit it. If peace is homeless, so are you and so am I, and he who is our home is homeless with us. Is this your wish? Would you forever be a wanderer in search of peace? Would you invest your hope of peace and happiness in what must fail? Paragraph 10. Faith in the eternal is always justified, for the eternal is forever kind, infinite in its patience, and wholly loving. It will accept you wholly and give you peace. Yet it can unite only with what already is at peace in you, immortal as itself. The body can bring you neither peace nor turmoil, neither joy nor pain. It is a means and not an end. It has no purpose of itself. The body has no purpose of itself, but only what is given to it. The body will seem to be whatever is the means for reaching the goal that you assign to it. Only the mind can set a purpose, and only the mind can see the means for its accomplishment and justify its use. Peace and guilt are both conditions of the mind to be attained. Peace and guilt are both conditions of the mind to be attained. And these conditions are the home of the emotion that calls them forth, and therefore is compatible with them. Did fear call it forth? Or did the emotion of love call it forth? What messengers you send out is what message you'll receive. Paragraph 11. But think you which it is that is compatible with you. Here is your choice, and it is free. But all that lies in it will come with it, and what you think you are can never be apart from it. The body is the great seeming betrayer of faith. In it lies disillusionment and the seeds of faithlessness. but only if you ask of it what it cannot give. Can your mistake be reasonable grounds for depression and disillusionment and for retaliative attack on what you think has failed you? Use not your error as the justification of your faithlessness. You have not sinned, but you have been mistaken in what is faithful, and the correction of your mistake will give you grounds for faith. 12. It is impossible to seek for pleasure through the body and not find pain. Catch that. It is impossible to seek for pleasure through the body and not find pain. It is essential that this relationship be understood, for it is one the ego sees as proof of sin. It is not really punitive at all. Punitive is punishment, or so you could say instead of intended as punishment is what punitive means. It is not really intended as punishment at all, the body. It is but the inevitable result of equating yourself with the body. Let's read that again. It is impossible to seek for pleasure through the body and not find pain. It is essential that this relationship be understood, for it is the one the ego sees as proof of sin. It is not really punitive at all. It is not really intended as punishment at all. It is but the inevitable result of equating yourself with the body, which is the invitation to pain. For it invites fear to enter and become your purpose. The attraction of guilt must enter with it, and whatever fear directs the body to do is therefore painful. It will share the pain of all illusions, and the illusion of pleasure will be the same as pain. Is not this inevitable? Under fear's orders, the body will pursue guilt, serving its master, whose attraction to guilt maintains the whole illusion of its existence. This, then, is the attraction of pain. Ruled by this perception, the body becomes the servant of pain, seeking it dutifully and obeying the idea that pain is pleasure, the upside-down perspective of the ego. It is this idea that underlies all the ego's heavy investment in the body, and it is this insane relationship that it keeps hidden and yet feeds upon. To you it teaches that the body's pleasure is happiness, yet to itself it whispers, it is death. Why should the body be anything to you? Certainly, this is paragraph 14. Why should the body be anything to you? Certainly what it is made of is not precious, and just as certainly it has no feeling. It transmits to you the feelings that you want. Like any communication medium, the body receives and sends the messages that it is given. It has no feeling for them. All of the feeling with which they are invested is given by the sender and the receiver. The ego and the Holy Spirit both recognize this, and both also recognize that here the sender and receiver are the same. The Holy Spirit tells you this with joy. The ego hides it, for it would keep you unaware of it. Who would send messages of hatred and attack? If he but understood, he sends them to himself. Remember that the ego keeps this hidden, that you're both the giver and the receiver of the message, because what you give, you're receiving in your brother, because there's a oneness in us. That's what the atonement's all about, the atonement. Who would send messages of hatred and attack? If he but understood, he sends them to himself. Who would accuse? Make guilty and condemn himself. 15. The ego's messages are always sent away from you in the belief that for your message of attack and guilt will someone other than yourself suffer. And even if you suffer, yet someone else will suffer more. The great deceiver recognizes that this is not so, but as the, in quotes, enemy of peace, It urges you to send out all your messages of hate and free yourself. And to convince you this is possible, it bids the body search for pain in attack upon another, calling it pleasure and offering it to you as freedom from attack. Paragraph 16. Hear not its madness, and believe not the impossible is true. Forget not that the ego has dedicated the body to the goal of sin, and places in it all its faith that this can be accomplished. Its sad disciples chant the body's praise continually, in solemn celebration of the ego's rule. Not one but must believe that yielding to the attraction of guilt is the escape from pain. Not one but must regard the body as himself, without which he would die, and yet within which is his death equally inevitable. And then the last paragraph to finish this section, 17. It is not given to the ego's disciples to realize that they have dedicated themselves to death. Freedom is offered them, but they have not accepted it. And what is offered must be received to be truly given. For the Holy Spirit, too, is a communication medium, receiving from the Father and offering his messages unto the Son. Like the ego, the Holy Spirit is both the sender and the receiver. For what is sent through him returns to him, seeking itself along the way and finding what it seeks. So does the ego find the death it seeks, returning it to you. Okay, well, let's call on that defenseless part of ourselves today, that little child, and tell ourselves, I will be still an instant and go home. Okay, and what holidays are going on around the world? Well, there's actually, it's called Dharma Day or Asala Puja. Some Buddhists celebrate it on July 1st, even though it's actually the full moon of July, generally, is my understanding. But anyway, Dharma Day. Your Dharma, that essential essence of yourself. You could say, be still and go home an instant. Follow that little child, that true identity of yourself. That could be considered your Dharma, your path. Okay, out of holidays and observances, I found American Zoo Day. Might be a day to go to the zoo. Blink 182 Day, also known as Resolution Renewal Day. So we're halfway through the year, lesson 182, on day 182. Canada Day, Devotion to Duty Day, Early Bird Day, International Joke Day, International Reggae Day, Financial Freedom Day, Postal Workers Day, Television Heritage Day. And out of edible landscaping, we've got the Wase Fuyu Asian Persimmon. And it says it's also known as the Matsumoto. Easier to pronounce. I don't know if I'm getting Wase. Is that pronounced Wase Fuyu Asian Persimmon or Matsumoto? Wase Fuyu is an early ripening Fuyu type, ripens before Ichi and Makawajira, usually sold in stores as Fuyu, though it is this early ripening selection. Excellent flavor with high sugars, vigorous and very productive with a spreading shape. The most important commercial variety in the United States usually starts fruiting early in its second or third year, hangs well on the tree past its mature picking date, height 10 to 12 feet, space 12-foot circles, self-fertile, and zone 6 through 8. And you know, yesterday I didn't read all of the Isu Asian Persimmon. There was another little bit on the next page. Let me just read it. Isu is a very early ripening Fuyu type, usually seedless, and can be eaten hard like an apple, almost a month earlier than others. Fruit keeps well. Dwarf tree. Fruit color burnt orange. Fruit colors up earlier than others, tastes very good if the fruit softens, space 10-foot circles, self-fertile, sown 6 through 8. So both of these today that we're talking about are self-fertile. So you can plant just one of them and you'd be able to get a crop. And our word for peace today, we're going to take it from the Wintu, also known as just the Wintu tribe or the Winnemem tribe of Northern California. They're on the McCloud River and its watershed, all the way to the Sacramento River, to the Pitt River. And that's where Mount Shasta is. So the Mount McCloud River watershed. And the word for peace is, and if I'm pronouncing it right, it's M-I-N-A. Would that be Mina? Let's go with Mina. Hopefully that's right. If anybody knows the proper pronunciation, please send me the proper pronunciation on my email. I would greatly appreciate doing these right in honor of our Winnemem Wintu people. Mina be with you. Peace be with you. Okay, well, let's close with our song now. Thank you all so much for joining me today. I will be still an instant and go home. I will be still an instant and go home. There is a child in you that seeks his father's house. He desires to go home so deeply, so unceasingly. His voice cries unto you to let him rest a while. He does not ask for more than just a few instants of respite. Just an interval in which he can return to breathe again the holy air that fills his Father's house. The child is your defenselessness, your strength. Be still an instant and go home with him and be at peace a while. I will be still an instant and go home. Be sure to go home an instant today, many times, every hour, and then a longer period, morning and evening. Take time to be sure you make it home. I will be still an instant and go home. Mina.